Alright, welcome back everyone. Uh, Kind of impromptu stream tonight. I got the urge to, almost for meme reasons, I guess, try uh, a Titania, Gaia, Titania voice of Gaia. And this is from earlier today, but it ended up winning this game, and while it didn't come up in this post board game, this is pre board, as evident by the opposition agent in my graveyard. But figured it might be a fun stream to do. So again, for those who don't know, I've been playing with two endurances main. Just so we see this more often, I figured we'll just play this main and then move the second endurance back to the sideboard. I kind of had an extra slot anyways that I had been, playing random fun things like Fourth Bridge Prowler. So I cut that slot for the endurance, and I think it maps kind of neatly. Also against Delver, I think this is like a fifth endurance almost. Because it has reach and is a 3/4 body. I think there's arguments to be made. Maybe we play Caracas, but I think the Wasteland is better, like on average. Um, yeah, that would be pretty sick, Josh. If it ETB untapped, because Grizz is a legendary, but it's not a creature, unfortunately. So it doesn't count. Um, the nice thing about this is actually, since we have Josh here, I want to point out that Josh was the one that um, suggested going up to 22 lands initially, and then we went to ESG immediately after that. Well, not immediately after, but like a few weeks later. So I guess the natural progression is just like more lands is better, right? And so we're up to the 23rd land. When I did this earlier, a couple days ago, I mentioned that I did not like the fact that Wasteland and Caracas are both non-green sources. So I had been playing the 9th fetch, I think a couple days ago. Actually, last night, I take that back. And I like the extra, 15th green source for sure. I guess it doesn't really count because it comes in play tapped turn one. It's but it's not susceptible to remove the way Dryad Arbor is. So there's like if we really want the cleanest mana base, and whilst trying this package, we could even play the ninth fetch and just go up to another green source. But I've been pretty impressed with Wasteland because it attacks on a very different axis than the rest of our deck, and it means that our opponents get punished now if for keeping really greedy hands. Because unless they play around Wasteland, which is good for us on average, if we do draw the Wasteland, it's probably going to be a blowout. With that said, everything else is like fairly straightforward, I think. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. So I have some Christmas tree lights in the background. Trying to be in the holiday spirit. We'll see how it goes. Quite a few number of people have already 5-0, so I think leagues are pretty popping at the moment. Anybody have any questions for me? Oh, well, I guess we're gonna start a game here now. I was trying to do Titanium stuff in Pioneer earlier today. Oh, okay, so I guess Josh would be a, pretty logical person to provide insight. It did not go well. So of course here, like the 9th fetch would be so much better. So I don't like that, definitely. The rest of the hand is like actually okay, so I'm gonna keep, even though it's kind of an awkward start. Also, I realized earlier this thing is a sorcery. Like I am very disappointed in that. Like that you have to activate at sorcery speed. The reason why is because I could have activated this before with a trigger on the stack, and then because I had a cradle out, and then I realized, oh, never mind, I cannot because I can only do that at sorcery speed. So I couldn't actually get out extra bear. Not that it mattered because I pretty much won anyways, but it's relevant for Reclaimer because against these graveyard decks, we can't actually hold Reclaimer up. Well, we could, but it takes way more mana. Alright, looks like we're playing against Doomsday. One second, my dog is I think we just like try to get the Wasteland. Why they screwed that up? I think they're not familiar with Alex or Shepard. We would have got punished. We would have got punished for leading with the Visionary there, just to try to dig into the Endurance. Actually, I think we probably should have played the Arbor in case we draw the Cradle. So that was a mistake by me. The other slot that I can see playing is like that has been this, you know, revolving door to things I'm testing is obviously the highest floor, highest ceiling card is probably the second Gris. Actually, I take that back. The ceiling on Ramanat could be higher than second Gris, but obviously that's because we're playing Wasteland. Like, my dog keeps. Look, come on. Luckily, the Doomsday player is still playing Titania without the land is good. It probably is. The life game was like very relevant against Delver, but granted, that's like only one matchup. I don't really like super narrow cards like that. All right. I feel like the line here is we're gonna once see if we draw the Wasteland, which is really Cradle, which is notably relevant here because instead of 5 mana, we only have 4, right? Hopefully that doesn't cost us. It could. We would have had 2 mana. It doesn't. It didn't end up mattering here. But it could have. So we just have to hope we don't die here, right? Like we're not favorite game 1 against Doomsday. I do think we are favorite post board. Oh wow. Actually, I should have taken a look at. Oh, I guess it didn't matter. We can't stop that. But with Bog. . we're able to successfully clear. Alright, that played out the way it normally does. Like, we're not favored game one. I think this we can safely board that out. Boarding the other endurances. The Noxious Revival being a time walk here is pretty good. We can board out the Bog. All the slow grindy cards essentially. Yeah, I could see scenario because the land is definitely a liability. I cannot believe this thing is only sorcery speed. Like, I would be more inclined or happier with this card for being tapped. If we could do this at sorcery instant speed, so that Reclaimer could be held up at least. I think we have one half of the combo, which is the endurance, but our clock is otherwise kind of slow. I think we're gonna mull. This is significantly better, but I think we put the cradle back. Our clock is slow here, but we do have 2 disruption spells. And especially with Noxious Revival in the deck, I think we don't want to just keep a very mediocre slow hand. Sure. Maybe that turn 1 Dark Ritual Doomsday. So here, at least we can take. Oof, at least we can take the Dark Ritual potentially, or their land. I mean, well, they don't have a land, but we don't have a better play. The Artisan here doesn't matter. Again, a liability. Okay. I've drawn this twice now where it has been quite bad. And the 9th fetch would have been significantly better. So I think the only thing it really changes would be we would have an extra creature for Gaia's Cradle. So we can hoof them like for 6 or whatever next turn. Otherwise. Because they go down here to 7 and they yeah, I think well actually I take that back. We only have 3 lands, so that doesn't matter actually. We do accept losing to Doomsday Nut hands, right? Just like Reanimator Nut hands, because we are not a Force Will decks. But even then, Force Will doesn't really beat that either, right? They're playing the LDV list. And presumably a lot of cyclers with Street Wreath. Oh, actually, that's quite good. So yeah, 1 C, 2 Cs, Swamp. I think Island is in their pile. But Artisan here isn't exactly changing things. It's kind of awkward for us. I feel like it could be in hand, yeah. I think we don't have a better play. I just don't think the Artisan is gonna get there, if that makes sense. Well, Yeah, I just don't think the artisan is really gonna get there. Well, actually, we know the other land. Okay, I guess they don't have it. Maybe they boarded it out, but that doesn't make seem right. Oh, I see what they're doing. Yeah, they're gonna fetch out the island. They didn't want to mess with the pile. They're playing around endurance. So this is what I mean. Like, I think we're dead here because they're gonna fetch out the other island and then we're just toast, right? They're gonna draw their card per turn, and then this plays around endurance. Thank you for the raid, Justin. Welcome. Sure. All right, we're dead. So I would like to first thank Justin for the raid, and I guess it's somewhat fitting because Justin and I, on the vintage version, we need to address the Doomsday matchup, and one of the rare losses here in Legacy against this version. But you know we had double Thoughtseize, and unfortunately they had the hand that beat it. But usually this matchup I think is pretty good for us. In Legacy, in Vintage, it's a different story. Uh, Debatable whether we want to address that matchup or not. I know I would defer to Justin's metagame call, and as of right now, I think his opinion is we do not try to fix the vintage version matchup. Uh, so for those of you who are tuning in, we're trying Titania tonight and seeing how that goes. And then here are my socials if you guys are, curious or want more information about my stream and my social media accounts. Could be show and tell. That's what it feels like. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and fetch to deck thin before I once upon a time. It digs one deeper, potentially. Here, I think if they are on show and tell, the card we want to put in is probably the Fiend Artisan. Also, Lotus Petal decks tend to not be good matchups for Reclaimer anyways, too. Hey, Johnny Deathbray. Good games. Appreciate the kind words for sure. You were the first match tonight. Oh, it looks like they're on 8 cast. Kind of a strange opening hand though for an 8 cast player. If that's what they're on. Yeah, it looks like they are on it. Thank you for the follow, Misclaim. I do think this matchup is very good. Ah, okay. I'm glad. Yeah, it was pointed out that you were 2-2, I think, in the league by the MTG bot. So I'm glad you were able to end on a positive note. Thank you for follow Panda Skater. I think here it makes sense to just commit more to the board. It could matter. I guess like if I'm playing tight, I should play around days. I know they don't usually run it, but you never know. The reason why to not play the land is in case you want them to force so that you don't get the cradle mana, but they should be forcing Artisan anyways. Alright, so you can bash for 4, sure. I mean 1, I don't think we care. Their hand is like kind of slow. I think here, so they don't like tutor something like crazy. I think what I want to do is maybe tutor up the artisan, sorry, the opposition agent. We can natural order, but there's really no rush at the moment. And then we can lock out their deck the fall. Well, we can lock out the deck the following turn, but I think there. Okay, let's see. What can they? What are we afraid of here that they can potentially get? I guess we just get the oof here, right? And I'm not sure anything main board that we're afraid of. Like Shadow Spear doesn't matter because of the collective. I'm trying to, like, I don't think they're gonna have Cage game 1, so I'm not really sure what they could even get that we're scared of. I mean, they could get that, I guess, but then again, they have to deal with the collector oof first, and that means they have to be able to hardcast or not hardcast, but use Otawara on the collector oof. Sure. We'll take 7 go to 9. I don't think that matters. They should have actually used the Emery to do that pre combat, so that the construct is big enough. Likely doesn't really matter. All right. If they have force, we potentially lose for no reason. Um, but we do, for what it's worth, have 2 chances at it. We're gonna have to block is the other thing. So okay, we do that. We cast. That's lethal. Could they possibly have something that we care about? We could like wait another turn too, but I'm not sure that like is necessary. I think we just jam. Definitely play. Actually, if I played a save, I probably play the artisan and then just like get the shepherd there. So here, I think we pitch the that. Actually, Do we have enough? Hopefully that's enough. We have extra 3, 4, 5 damage. Might have just cost myself the game here, just by getting reckless against them, right? Just like no, not respecting my opponent. I think we probably have the game locked if I just took the other safe line. Here. So 7 plus 5. Okay, let me see that. That'd be plus 4, 5. On top of 16. I think we're short. Yeah, there'll be a 5 extra 5 damage on top of the 16, so we are short. For whatever that's worth. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need a Hydra. No, it's my fault. Like I just like didn't respect our opponent too much right here. And getting punished, right? Yeah, I think we. Yeah, I know, Eric. That's what I was hinting at. Like, I just kind of like didn't respect my opponent here and just kind of like assume we won the game anyways and play poorly. Um, we'll go ahead and pass, I guess. We still could get bailed out here by Guy's Cradle. It's my fault for like getting greedy. I think we might actually have lethal now because of that chump block too. Ironically enough. Because it's 5 damage and I think we have lethal now. Okay, that's even better. Now we have beyond lethal. Again, be better than me. Don't just like willy-nilly just kind of do things because you assumed you won. We got bailed out here, to be honest. Well, I think we had lethal anyways, but then it could have gone really poorly here. But again, better lucky than good. I think we win this game easily if I like, treat it more like a tournament setting. I kind of like play loosey goosey on these leagues because I don't want to spend too much time, and then sometimes it backfires. Right, you spend more time because you take the extra turns because you threw away otherwise win. It really was because that's the extra damage, right? Like even we didn't draw the cradle there. That's the extra damage, and they actually tapped out there, which gave us actually lethal through attacks, right? Which is funny enough. We played a 3/4 for no value, and suddenly because of the graveyard dependencies on Phenars and the suddenly lethal, right? I think we can board that out though, and then we can board in. We have some haymakers in this matchup. I don't think I like endurance. The land is like pretty slow, but it was like okay there, right? I don't think we want to crop either. And then there's one more cut. I guess this is kind of slow. Hydra in. So like my gut feeling is now like we've drawn this a few times, and while it's like cute if we combo with Titania, it's like a huge liability. I've been kind of frustrated drawing that card already like twice in this stream alone. It is horrid. What is its sorcery speed is what I want to know. It would be more reasonable, I think. The classic three cards and do nothing. Interesting. I think here we're just gonna like thin first into once into ramp. Possible this is like a hope breacher. Like I doubt it though, but maybe. Alright, what do we want here? I think we want the Finhorn actually. Why are we running the X Dryad spell? Which one is that one? Gamer Champ? Obviously, sure. Sure. I think here we're just gonna go ahead and like kill it right now before it annoys us. Okay, they're just gonna go hellbent. That's fine, I guess. Well, interesting. We know they have force now. I think we're just gonna force them. Since when do you need thumbs to cast instant? So we know they have force based on the way that they are thinking about, you know, forcing the snuff out there. We're gonna force them to have the blue pitch, otherwise their entire deck shuts off here, right? And even if they don't, even if they do have the force, we have natural or lethal next turn. So it's just like a comedy of errors, or not errors, but a lot of answers, a lot of things they need to answer, right? Obviously, they can dismember the collective. That would be one fake out, right? Like they pretend like they have force, and then I lost my thumbs in now. I guess I'm working for sorceries. That's not how that works. Awaken the woods 2Q. I don't even know what that does. I'm gonna bash with a collector oof here. Alright, obviously, if we try to play around dismember, they could like dismember our thing and then like pump, but I don't think we're playing around that. Let's see, what does Awaken the Woods do? I don't understand. Like, why would we play this? It was to Doomsday with LDV. Playing against Habibovita. Unfortunately, they know what we're on, which means this matchup is like really rough. I did learn something about this actually playing against it just earlier, which is their mana base is actually really sketch. So I didn't realize this, but if you force a Vigor Chromox, they probably just lose. I have my doubts about this deck in a big setting event, right? With like I think this deck beats up on a lot of the non-blue decks and especially newer players. But I have my doubts about this deck in a metagame with better players and Chalice and more Delver players, right? So we can't beat that. So we'll just concede. I think Snuff Out is probably worth it because it's like another way we can interact. Um, we can board up some of the other slow stuff. Yeah, like this. I think Shepard to like have a fast clock is pretty important. This matchup is definitely not favorite. I don't like this matchup at all. We have a turn two collective if there's that. Which challenge are you talking about, Def Not Oz? Are you talking about the one with the white splash? I think it sounds like you're trying every list but mine, Def Not Oz. Like, and literally, Testacular current played my exact list in the showcase challenge. Yeah, again, like, no comment. I have played your list. It's pretty much the same as his list this weekend. It depends what you mean by this weekend. Like, do they always have Echo plus LED? Jesus. Like, if I cared more about this matchup, I would play Mindbreaker. I just assume that I won't have to worry about this in a bigger setting. Like, they have a fail rate, so they lose to themselves sometimes. But I suspect they don't have a great Delver matchup, but I could be wrong. I think we're gonna follow Windmill Head, I think. Yeah, I know Tony. I just wonder if Tony's just really outplaying his opponent is all, right? Like, cause he is probably the best. He invented the deck, so I would expect him to be the best player with this list. Um, so I just wonder how it is if it's like even players, if that makes sense. Like I definitely know sometimes when I get paired against certain players, like they don't understand where the choke points of elves are, and there's like a huge advantage. Obviously, that comes with the territory of building your own deck, but I do acknowledge there are some games I win that I might have not won if my opponent maybe knew the choke points of the deck better. I think we're dead here. what can you do? That is probably, I think, our worst matchup. But the way the deck is currently built is I've conceded the matchup. Like I'm not gonna try to win the Rite of Flame matchups. I think we can win every other matchup, including combo outside of Rite of Flame. But I I just don't think it's worth it to destroy our sideboard to address those matches because the cards that tend to be good because they always jam is something like Mind Trap, which is not otherwise not good against anything else, right? Yeah, Noxus is still in the sideboard. I think I'm gonna mulligan. We only have one land and two natural orders. That assumes you get a turn though, Deafening Oz. Like I'm again that it's Deafening Signs to me is like on the order of Mindbreak Trap. I just think it's like super narrow. I did have a Bovita. I was on the play, so I figured why not. I'm not really aiming to try to beat, Rite of Flame deck. So if we pair up, then so be it. Good games, by the way. Turn one Swamp. Feels like Reanimator. So we sneakily still have Endurance up, but I played the Cradle out here in case they go for an Animate Deadline, then we can actually Boseiju and save the Endurance. Oh wow, okay, interesting. What is going on here? Oh my god, I think we're playing against Pox. I don't know what it is. Like I seem to attract all the Pox players for some reason. It is Pox. I joke, or somebody has joked to me that there must be like some Pox chat out there. It's like, oh, Newton is queuing up. We must queue into him because I have an absurd amount of pairings into Pox for whatever reason. Like, I talked to like Will Kruger a while back, and he said he had not paired in Pox for years, and I once paired in Pox 4 times in the same week. Sure. No, I don't think so. I'd rather protect my lands from Wasteland and get Cradle. The clock is negligible because Reclaimer is going to be... Ooh. This feels like Opposition Agent. That feels like opposition agent. So opposition agent is like an interesting card. I think like from a game theory perspective, like is that a card you want to play around or no? And it's usually telegraphed. So like some people will main phase certain things because it's like very but there's also the so we actually have ratchet bomb. Sure, I don't think that actually matters. The land is actually not relevant for a while. I don't think I want to. Why not? All right. I'm gonna attack Karn here, and then. Uh, we could increase the clock, but then we give them full information of what we have. It's probably still worth it. Hey Mike, how's it going? We are only 1-2 so far tonight. We lost the first round to Doomsday. We lost game 1, which is predictable. Game 2, they had the kill through our Thoughtseize, double Thoughtseize, because the first one was forced and the second one only hit lands, and they just like had a hand that beat our hand. Sure. What's all that ruckus? It is my dog, unfortunately. I hope not. I hope not. They're 1. Yeah, they're playing towards it. What did they get with the helm? I mean the Karn. Okay, so they do have it. Pretty unlucky. They got a ratchet bomb, which is interesting though. So maybe they already had it, I don't know, but kind of unfortunate here. Here a Progenitus in our deck would have helped, but you know, maybe this is just not our league, right? They're on the. It is turn 7. Yeah, I mean it is. Well, we used to have the progenitors where it would buy us another turn, right? But well, actually, would it in this case? I don't. It's a little bit different than Painter, I think. I think it would just like be exiled, but I could be wrong. I don't remember how that works. I don't even play Agent here. I don't actually love Shepard in this matchup because they're gonna have like a million. What is it called? They're gonna have a million Plague Engineers post board. I think that's good here. And we'll play this. I think this has been good though. I like the land has been a real liability. We also like maybe respected the opposition agent when we shouldn't have. So that is like a possibility. I think we put the yeah, I think we put the reclaimer back. I think the speed of a crop could be relevant. This matchup is not particularly great. Or I would rather not see it, is what I mean. Like, essentially, I don't want to play against decks trying to cheese wins because I think in any longer game, we're probably going to win. Like, I'm scared of these, like, A plus B, like, what is it called? There's a phrase for it. Two-card Monty type of decks. That, like, sometimes, I mean, like, let's just say they're 30% to win otherwise. But even then, like, I think we would be, like, maybe not 30. That's not a good example. Let's just say they're 50% to win. I think in a fair matchup, we're probably, like, 70%. So that, like, takes away some of our equity. If they have it, they have it, I think. They have the Dark Ritual Opposition Agent. Like, I'm just gonna live with that. Like, our hand's so much better because of the conversation there, right? Sure. Plague Engineer. Good. Oh my god. Deluge? Wasn't playing around that. I think we want to draw a land here. That's probably the ideal. Oh my god. Sure. Question here is like, I think we want to play towards a Gris, right? I don't think they can beat a Gris. Nice. They're turning on a Gris for us. Well, not anymore. This is punishment for being in the 1-2 bracket. You play against Pox, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be players like that. I just don't really worry about that. If there's players who just don't want to lose to L's, that's like fine, right? Like, question here is, do they have agent? Ugh. That's pretty good. Am I short? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought that. We didn't fetch because it's just I. They haven't done anything, so that makes me feel like they have agent, and they just like trying to get us essentially. Like they're just playing this haymaker magic essentially. I think we won now because of that. Like it'll be hilarious if that's what's in their hand opposite. And just, they kept trying to just get us. Hey Dukes, how's it going? I don't think so, Jason. And the reason being is because we would be down a creature, right? Like I think the creature matters a lot in case we did top deck Cradle. And if they want to keep leaving 3 mana up, that's fine with me. I think. I think they're dead now. I don't think they can beat this board. Like opposition agent is one of the cards that I have now trained myself to play around because yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they have. To be honest, I never think they had the agent. Like, why would they pass and do nothing when literally their whole deck is all sorcery speed outside of agent? Like, I think it has to be agent. One second. Since we are trying to kill people, I think neither of them are better than Snuff Out. I think Snuff Out is obscene in our deck. For sure, Jason. That makes sense. Yeah, Noxus Revival, I think, is a very good card in the Legacy metagame right now. I would highly recommend anybody who's having trouble with with the Doomsday matchup to try it. Obviously, you would have to pair it with a fast clock, and some decks just don't naturally have that. I think we have to mulligan this. Hmm. It's probably that, ironically enough. Yeah, the agent is one of those things. It's just like, what level do you put your opponent on, right? Do you think they're the type that will just walk into it, or if you give them respect, you don't get the blowout, but you get the guaranteed like in case they draw a fetch land, they can't play it. Also, it's tough like when people know your list, and this is why I think you should always change things up. I mentioned this to, for instance, Tony Murata, who's playing the exact 75 pretty much every list. But like, if people know what to play around, it makes your deck a lot weaker in my opinion. And for instance, I will like sometimes have certain cards, even though I think they're suboptimal, just so the opponent has to live with the fear, right? It's almost worth it to give them one fetch and turning off all the rest. You're talking about going for the blowout, Jason? I think here we are gonna fetch. Might hit us here. Yeah, it really it's like the sub game, right? Like like do you respect your opponent is like probably crude way of saying it. I'm just gonna like play everything out here so I don't like get hemmed into oblivion. Well, what can you do? They pro I don't know. They may name insect here. We'll see. If they do, it's actually not the end of the world for us. Yeah, and we also mold. I just don't think we could have kept that. Like Progenitus is one of the ways to beat Plague Engineer, and these like Pox players love to play Quad Engineer. So I just felt like that was a mole, and just having like 4 lands is a pseudo mole. All right, so they respected it. I don't think I'm gonna fetch here. I want to draw lands. All right, we have no choice now but to fetch. Arbor or Cradle? I feel like it's got to be Cradle. Now any natural order top deck is good for us. Sure. Plague Engineer is like the least of our worries, luckily. Like I can we can beat Engineer pretty reasonably. Not with the current hand, unfortunately, but we'll just pass. I don't want to hit him if they can. We'll take 3 every turn. That's not the end of the world. Uh, the problem with dorks is if you do draw them on subsequent turns, it's like pretty bad. We play them because I think they're better in the shell than the normal shell. So we're on a. No, I don't think so. Cooldown max. And the reason being is because if they want to like ambush our fetch, I think we're okay with that. And the reason being is because I want the coast to be clear when I go for natural order. So if they want to get our fetch, I think we're okay with that. It's not lethal, but it's close. That's pretty good. We only have 1 turn, unfortunately. Yeah, so Jason is kind of getting at the point what I'm trying to get at. It has been a rough league for us, but I think we kind of like reach a consensus that land is just awful. I think I just rather play the ninth fetch. I like don't really care about you know. Well, I take that back. There's like some rewarding getting the 5-0 post for publicity slash clout, whatever you want to call it, Patreon subscribers. But at the end of the day, Hoof is definitely live. So is let's see, so is Green Sun, I believe. Let's see, four, five, six, seven. No, Green Sun is not live. Natural Order is alive, but they have four cards in hand and haven't done anything, and now we're just dead. All right. All right, been a rough league so far. We'll finish out with a fifth match. I'll bring up this list. I'm almost certain. This card is cute. Unfortunately, the deal breaker is this is awful to draw. Not the reasons why we lost our matches per se, but definitely could have in other circumstances. Uh, if anything, maybe we could still it's still playable as a fifth endurance, but definitely some of the power level is gone without the land. But the land is just so bad to draw. Right? I cannot believe this is sorcery speed. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, so going back to what Josh is referring to, like this card is like pretty good against the life gain. I think is like super relevant as in a reclaimer deck. I think I would rather have the second endurance though. That's possible. A card I kind of want to test, and unfortunately, in the one league I tried it again. Like I have this love hate relationship. Not even love hate. It's like on and on again, off again relationship with Raminat Excavator. It's a card I've tried in the past to varying degrees and in different builds, iterations of this deck. This I just tried it the other day in this iteration with the 23rd land, and part of the reason is because we are on Wasteland at the moment. Uh, if I feel like the Merit Lage players are not playing around Karagas. I may have to swap in Karagas again, but I think I wanted to play the Ramanat because it can come in against fair matchups and not the end of the world against Delver and recur Wastelands. I'm sorry, Wasteland and Cradle, but I do not really like super narrow cards that essentially like again. I know I advertised this before, but where's it? Based on the sideboard optimizer, like this is how I'm like building my sideboards now. Um, if I feel like a card like a Mind Break Trap, it's not even listed here because I took it out. If I feel like it doesn't really come in many matchups, I just don't think it's worth playing because I think I'm concerned about the overall EV of the cards that I play. And Mind Break Trap, I'm just willing to lose to right now to the Rider Flame decks. Versus Agent and Besaid, they're supposed to play into Caracas. Yeah, so one reason to play Caracas is because you get more leverage against the Merit Lage decks because they're incentivized, as Jason mentioned or alluded to play into it anyways because the current elf builds at least have what maybe two virtual copies between a rotation and and the actual Caracas itself. The Reclaimer can get it, but that's in a grindier game where you probably should be favored. It's the really fast Merit Lages that are scary. Also, when it's telegraphed via Reclaimer, um, that is a lot easier for them to play around. We're 1-3, but I think we just want the reps here, right? One thing I could see doing is if we really want to maximize the sideboard slots, is moving the Progenitus to the main deck. It would ironically would enough would want us that first match. No problem. I think they're a vintage player, but I could be wrong, Mike. Uh, so they're pro. Looks like they're on Moon Stompy. Also, some advertisement. I know Jason is advertising. What is it called? Tutoring with John Ryan Hamilton for Death and Taxes. So if you are looking to pick up that deck, might be worth you know pinging Jason. I think here we take the Gris. Oh, speaking of John Ryan, he is now in the chat because I mentioned it. Yeah, I think so because the logic is you want to force them to play out their furies. So fittingly enough, here we have a Moon Stompy expert, John Ryan Hamilton, here who can probably discuss his take. And then here we're sandbagging the second force. I actually don't love the Fury matchups at the moment. I've lost to some players who I felt like just are casting spells at random against me, and it just so happened to line up. So I'm a little bit concerned about this matchup, and I'm a little bit concerned about the Painter matchup at the moment. I've found Fable into Fury, Hardcast Fury, to be difficult to beat. I guess that's not surprising when you mention that out loud, but alright, we're just gonna go and slam Gris. They don't have red, which is kind of nice. They could be forced to exile Fury here. Can't mill the hoof if you draw the hoof. Could see a Fury on the. Oh, they're on stacks. So they are showing their vintage roots here, so to speak. It's pretty good for them if they have Fury. Yeah. All right. We can like turn off their uh, well, let me see. I want to kill the Lotso Golem. Yeah, I'm gonna GSZ for oof. The question is though, yeah, I think I want this. It's probably just gonna annoy me. Oh, I screwed up. Forgot about the Trinisphere. So I should have just played a fetch land and then fetched up the. I screwed up. I should have and then get the Arbor right. Just not playing clean here. The good thing is this does at least mess up their I license hers plays. We are in the 1-3 bracket, so that might be why we're playing against this too. Sure. They could try to like lattice us, I guess. Yeah, it does. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Alright, we like straight up punted, right? Because if we had the fetch here, we could just like kill the card. Now we suddenly can't kill the card. I need to get better at commentating slash playing and playing at the same time because completely avoidable here, right? Sure. Sure, yeah. I mean, we technically still kill Karn, but we lose our Gris. Needle. Okay. Oh, they're on like posts, mud, like straight up old school mud. At least they lose their city. I think they didn't realize. Yeah, they made the same mistake we made. That the Trinisphere is out. So an eye for an eye, right? Like in this case, one misplay deserves another. Um, I think we take the card down to 1. Force them to use the needle. We can technically still. We can get an artisan. I'm just not sure it does anything in this board state, to be honest. I guess there's visionary too that like does things. I think it's either Reclaimer to turn on Cradle to eventually. Well, actually, we can't because then the Trinisphere is in place. So that's yeah. I'm gonna get Reclaimer. Yeah. We can't do the play I want to make, but it's still better than nothing. We are close to hook. Unfortunately, there's a tax on the crop rotation line, right? But it's not out of the realm. Then they're gonna be forced to have to needle the Gris here. We're gonna try to bait them into naming the foothills. The reason why we let this happen is because Reclaimer can pitch it anyways. Sure. All right. We can get the Trinisphere here. With the crop rotation. it's super telegraphed, but it's possible our opponent just doesn't have another line, right? Like they just have to accept the blowout. All right. Actually, let's do it this way. I tapped the cradle here because I want the extra mana. In case I need to reclaim her for some reason. Like I don't know if they have wasteland or something crazy like that. I doubt it because they have posts already. Like I don't know how if their mana base can be stretched that thin, but you never know, I guess. Um, well, insect was a oh yeah, insect token. I felt like maybe not. So getting it into play is right in my opinion. I think Jason brings up a good point because with the insect token we don't really care about. The arbor we do, but if they do block, we can't crop that for cradle. So that is like valid. We lose the extra mana, but then the card dies, so they can't tutor something relevant. Like the only thing I can see them tutoring here is a bridge, but I don't think we even care about bridge on this board state. There, although to be fair, we don't want them to tutor something crazy either. Like we don't know like what kind of crazy artifacts they could possibly play. Yeah, Shepard goes under the bridge. I personally have not really had issues with bridge in general, but it can prolong the game and we lose to other things, especially with the printing of Baseju. Uh, what do we see out of them? We just saw like mostly I think hate pieces, so I don't think we I don't think I'm gonna play this going forward. It doesn't seem great to me against control if we don't have the land. And the land is just so bad in my opinion. Like after the other games that we've seen, right? Progenitus, do we even care? I feel like they're a type of deck that could have all its dust, so maybe not. Um, I don't think we want Seize. Snuff Out seems really good against what's it called? Some of their pieces like Lodestone Golem. I don't think we want Bog. They're probably on challenge, so we keep the shepherds in. I don't think we're on endurance or agent. That gets us to 60. And I think the weakest card is probably the Waterwood Symbiote. Close, but no cigar here, right? Like this right side of it looks really good, but we don't have any early plays. We are in, territory where we're close to flooding more often, so whatever that's worth. That has War 2 is my new answer to bridge is just looping through trap in the Undercity. Uh, sure, that makes sense. Out of which deck? I'm curious. Are you talking about out of the white plume adventure deck or out of Moonsnobby? I'm just gonna not play around Wasteland. I don't think they have it. I'm gonna dare them. Makes sense. Out of what I played against it the other day actually. The card seems pretty good. Um, like the pseudo haste is like pretty neat. I think. I happen to have like the snuff out, which is like I think a welcome addition for me. Like I don't like snuff out against Moonstomper because like they're bringing maggots to the moon, but against that the white snobby list, I think I like it a lot better. All right. Depends when you bought plumes. So here, I think we're gonna play the cradle, and I think we're just gonna slam the. Actually, I can't even do that because I just realized the lodestone golem is an issue. Oh, that's kind of problematic. We still can ramp, but it's not in the way we would like. Do I care here? The problem is if I kill the saga here, that I can't ramp, so it's kind of bad. I'll let him have it. In a way, we're rewarded, right? Now we can hit the Shadow Spear, which is otherwise more annoying, probably. So the question here becomes, what do we want to kill? I don't know if we actually care. I think we killed our land. I actually think that Shadow Sphere is probably fine. Oh, what are we pitching? Probably the Artisan. Oof. All right. I think we play this and then pass. They can tap out, which I think I'm okay with. That's part of the rationale for why I didn't hit this shells. Oh my god, that's gonna hurt. Oh, they're gonna gain a good amount of life here. I still think we needed to hit the saga, but now it's more awkward. Well, maybe not. Well, actually, it has trample. I take that back. So we can't stop it. I was gonna like block and pitch, but that doesn't work. Natural order here is still lethal, but we have to top deck it now. See how good our top deck skills are. Not good enough. Now we can get Wasteland. I'm not sure Wasteland really matters on this board state, but we're like flooding out, right? I think we definitely want a spell land where like for these situations where and Lair of the Hydra is like okay, but not fantastic or anything. Also maybe sorcery speed. What is it called? The land that we have. Maybe that's good enough here. I don't know. It feels too inefficient for what it's worth. It maybe if it was instant speed. I just cannot believe that's sorcery speed. A package that I am like tempted to try is the One Saga package. Sure. So they can coding us on upkeep. Unfortunately, we can't we can't whatever in response use that neat land activation. Interesting. I think the red sweeper is pretty gas. Possible. I don't remember what it does. Here for some reason they have opted to attack with the TKS, so I'm 100% blocking. What do we want here? I don't think we want the wasteland anymore. Like, well, actually, I take that back. We potentially do. Cause they can like, well, they can tutor regardless. I think we just take this and see what happens. I don't think we're gonna wasteland. Ironically enough, Lair the Hydra would be able to take that Karn down here. Unless they already ticked up, I don't remember. No, they didn't. Natural order. Sure. I think we probably lost. This game has not gone the way we thought it would. Any artifact we lose here, right? Because we're banking on double blocking with the Shepherd, and then they can like coding us still. So they do have Wasteland. I'm so over this land though. I am excited to try the Ramonette because, especially if we play more than one copy of Wasteland, I think it could be interesting. They're gonna attack. We're gonna have to double block. They're gonna get out of lethal range, and then not only that, we can't actually use our Windswept Heath to for the fourth nat even in the event we natural order. So I think we're just dead on boarded. Uh, yes, I've heard about that card. I don't know what it does, but alright, we're just dead here. I think we do want Progenitors based on the way that game played out. And this feels really bad. This Warwood symbiote. I don't think it does anything. Sure. So what I really would like is actually if there was just another printing of a strong one drop. Um, it's funny because there was an elf that was actually printed that people have recommended to me. Like, what do I think about the certain card, right? Out of this new set. Unfortunately, it is way too much mana. Where is that card? Oh, here it is. If it was on Earth 4, I think I would be more playable. So this card is like pretty cool effect, and it's a 3/4. Uh, this is like not playable though. 4 mana. Like somebody asked me, and they think I'm kidding, but I said this needed to be 1 mana. Like, and I'm not even in the slightest bit kidding. It needs to be 1 mana, and if you want to make it a 0/1 or 1/1, that's fine with me. But it's nowhere near playable in my opinion. Like I don't even think I would play it if it was 2 mana. I just think it's just way too much because you're giving up a card, right? I think here we're just ramping. 2 mana, I think it's close, but I think 4 is just like way too much. I think even 2, it's like maybe I play the 1. Sure. Here, do we just waste them out of the game here? Feel like we do. Oops. Land is good. No, unfortunately not. Because the thing is that they can just do it before you get it out, right? Then it's like real bad. Ooh, that is quite the card. So we know that they have Wasteland, and I think I want to play around that. So making this line here plays around Wasteland. We technically could have just got another Cradle, but I Torpor Orb, sure. That's actually kind of annoying. Yeah, Atomic is the card. I used to play that in D&T, but what do we want to do here? I think we want to grow our things. Wow, okay, that's quite the card. I mean, they can't. Well, they could block, I guess, but it's not great. The reason why I'm doing this way is because I want to post combat bounce the Lambert, get the full 5 mana, and then flood the board essentially, right? Uh, I wonder if they have dismember and they're thinking about killing one of those things, but it doesn't make any sense because I just bounce it, right? All right, I'm not playing around any sweepers here. I don't think they can't even cast any sweepers that I'm aware of. And you're just gonna flood board, right? Yeah. All right. We only went 2 and 3, but like we're not gonna beat what's it called it the epic gamble. Like we're just conceding that matchup. So like this is just almost an auto loss. We lost to Pox, but again, not really something you can run into. I think the disappointing one was losing to Doomsday, but sometimes I mean we can't beat their nut draws, right? And we are giving up game one, but I think if I, oops, wrong one. Let's go back. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this because I don't want to see that. I think if we're cutting that, I think Titania unfortunately now becomes unplayable because it's what really only good against Delver. I think we're gonna go ahead and add back the ninth fetch because I just want us solid mana base. Because my logic, I mentioned this in Discord, is I don't think our opponent is gonna beat us if they don't cheese a win. And one way to, I don't want to leak free wins to our opponent because we just had another land that just can't doesn't do anything right in the Caracas. Maybe we play that in the sideboard, but I don't love it at the moment. We can move the second endurance back to the main. It's like pretty flexible. We could even play the fortune. I just don't think we're losing to these control decks. Um, and let's see if our love affair with Remnant Excavator can be rekindled, right? Like debatable if this is like good. Oops, if this is like good enough, but if you can get it going, I think it's like pretty solid. Yeah, and to be honest, like I've said it for a long time, and people thought I was crazy. I said this card is the most overrated card in the deck. Like it's not good against anything except Chalice. It's insane against Chalice, but like sure you can turn off their permission, but like so can a discard spell. Like it's a glorified discard spell in my opinion. All right, we're gonna go ahead and run it back. The one thing it does do that I do like that has become more relevant is it turns your dorks into damage late game against Delver, and otherwise, historically, like the way you beat Delver after Scavenging Ooze became obsolete was it's kind of ugly, right? Like you dink and dunk them for like 3 or 5 at every turn. It's like not the prettiest win condition, but that's what happens when you board out natural order. I think you keep. Yeah, that I will say is why I'm still playing. The 3 copies. It's because I don't want to have like straight up dead cards like later in the game, and it's nice to turn dorks into damage, right, so to speak. Like it's not nearly as overrated as let's say surgical extraction, right? I think that's probably the single most like overrated card in all of Magic. I don't think I will register surgical extraction in elves maybe ever again. The exception is like for some reason I need to like screw up their pile. I have Doomsday, but even Nox Revival does that better now. I think we take the Fiend Artisan. It's like almost unbeatable for them. I was like tempted to take another Cradle, but why would I take Oof? Like they're on Shadow. Oh no, I think reasonable. You probably just assume this is Underground Sea, right? Like that's reasonable. But no, I think they're. I mean, they would get us big time, right? If they're actually Shadow and just playing the fifth, Underground Sea and just like baited us into thinking they're a fair deck. I'm sure it probably comes up now that I think about it. Alright, they're gonna have Shadow. The good thing is we can just like flood the board here with all the stuff that we have. And I think outside of like the one fatal push, they can't really deal with this card. Alright, time to flood the board. My sequencing was not great there. I probably should have led with a Reclaimer before the Finhorn. Actually, the Finhorn is probably right because if they want to like snuff out our Shepherd and then daze the Finhorn, we'll probably live with that. Yes, they are probably dead. They can't. Like this is a must answer, and even this is a must answer. So like this probably lives, to be honest. The old all in aggro plan, right? It doesn't come up often, but it can come up. Not gonna block. Lots of punts is their name. I wonder if that's a foreshadowing moment here. Well, we've gotten back to our turn here. Alright, so that's the punt, right? They should have done it on their end step. I don't think they realized how Allosaurus Shepherd works. That attack was definitely bold, even if they were gonna dress down, right? Like that's yeah. So they messed up. They should have dressed down on their end step. Like, why are they playing main deck dressed down? I guess for the combo with, um, I thought they were gonna block. Maybe they thought we are gonna block or something. I don't know. Hey, answer key gaming. So I think against the shadow deck, it's like really awkward because our removal is like not where I want to be. I think endurance is like still reasonable, but not great. It's possible we just don't board and just like keep in the natural order package. So that takes us to there. Agent's bad. Oof is bad. And we can maybe go down one natural order. I mean, go down one natural order. I don't love Snuff Out against them because it only hits Murktide. Actually, Crop is probably not great. Actually, it's probably better than Natural though. Yeah, it makes it 13-13. Good for the combo kill, but we're like at 19 lives, so it didn't matter. Maybe they thought we are gonna block somehow, like a whole bunch of creatures, and then like maybe thought they were like 5-for-1 us. I just got a text from a buddy of mine asking about Shea Gilgis Alexander. Uh, sure. We notably have the combo naturally here in Ramanat and Wasteland. This is like a 3 mana. This is the green Lurus, right? I think we have 4 lands. I'm gonna go ahead and get. Oh, man, I'm like tempted to take the Artisan, but my brain is telling me that's not the right play. Like, I think we have to play 1 drop. Not to mention, we actually can't cast Artisan with this other hand otherwise, too. They may Fatal push us, if I were to guess. Nope. I doubt they're sandbagging a Snuff Out. So, if they have it, I expect the Fyndhorn Elves to die here. Yeah, I've done it a few times in the past, but I think I want to, rekindle the magic that we had before, right? With Remnant Excavator. I like to joke as the Green Lurus. If anything, I'd give Mike the 5-0 because I love to see like my friends do well. So, all right, I'm not gonna run the Remnant in today's, but I may run the Endurance in today's. We can play. The problem is we play the Remnant, we get no value. The Endurance is interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't think this is a Reclaimer line here. I'm thinking about playing the Wasteland, playing the Visionary, and then hitting their Underground Sea. I don't want to get my 2 and 3 drops dazed. Oh, sure, sure. It's fair enough. That's what you mean. Then we just send them back to the Stone Age here, right? Jason brings up a good point. Normally, you don't want to run Visionary into days, but we have 3 drops that are high impact, so that is a good point, and my mistake. I definitely think Jason has a very valid argument there. I think the line here is going to be the Reclaimer and into an Endurance. If they want to force that, I think that's probably fine with us. They're at 13 already, so they can technically fetch. So I'm going to go ahead and attack. And then I'm going to do it before they can. I think I'm going to Endurance now. They may force, but I think if they force, I don't think I care. This could be an engineer, perhaps. Normally, I try not to attack them, but if they already can get below 13, then it doesn't matter anymore, right? Like outside of, all right, I think here. Oh wow. Right. We're gonna do that first because it's free, and then all right, we're gonna Ramanat, and that's probably almost a must force. Okay, interesting. I don't care about Shepard. Like Shepard's, I'm gonna Grease done for a haymaker. It would be Gris if anything. All right, we thought that could happen, which is fine. I think here we don't want to play into days with our valuable Green Sun target, right? If this resolved, it's probably game. Okay, sure. And then I think we just bash now. It might just be game. They just like double hit themselves, right? Like the Ramanat and the Green Sun, like just another bomb, right? We just happen to have the natural or yeah, the natural wasteland plus excavator. Like this is a must force. Like we're gonna wasteland them into oblivion otherwise. Yeah, so I think the one really interesting line, and I'm still not 100% sure, but that Jason brought up was the do we run the visionary into the days? I typically, if I can avoid it, especially when we're not under pressure, I typically not don't like to do that. But there's definitely merit because we send them back to the Stone Age, right? If they do days and we wasteland them there. But I also don't want to give days value if my hand can afford it. So I think with Cradle you should play around days. So I think Jason and I are probably in alignment now. I think you shouldn't. Should not play around days or should not lose the visionary. Sure, sure, sure. Yeah, I think the Cradle map, like, I mean, we've seen with this deck, right? Like, Shriekmaw is probably the best example. A card that is otherwise, oh, it seems like an EDH card, right? Uh, put up results with this deck because you get the synergy bonus of like Once Upon a Time, Natural Order, and Cradle. The card doesn't really matter. The mana does. Always been the case with Elves. It's like that meme, right? Always has been. I think here we got a mold. We don't have a one drop. I think we put the cradle back and take our chances. We were testing it. Answer Key Gaming. It just was not impressive, or not. It wasn't impressive. The land is a huge liability. Is what we discovered in the first league. Oh, burn. Interesting. Opposition agent. Unfortunately, a blank against him. I like Grist here because it's essentially a +2 for mana, right over 2 turns. It's kind of like our fable of the Mirror Breaker here. Ugh. All right. Then let's see if they attack Grist. They Green Sun. I don't think I'm blocking. Well, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I'm blocking. I'm gonna go 11. Um. We're gonna get a vision and just like try to survive another turn. We may be in the chump block range pretty soon. The green sun represents lethal. Ooh, okay. That definitely changes the math. This puts us a 7 mana. Alright, we're at 8. Fire Blast is 4. I think we might have to just block everything here. Actually, do that. That helps, actually. I don't want to play the Boseiju because of Price of Progress here. Oh my god, that's lucky. This matchup is extremely scary. Speaking of Fable, have you found any answers that put us ahead? I've only found 1-for-1 answer so far. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that answer key game. A card I was looking at, and this is probably gonna seem super mean, but I know people love mean cards. Is I was like doing a Scryfall last night, and you know how that like this card came up and it's like, is this me or is this a green mono green Trigon Predator? Maybe I'm just like overthinking it, but is this a green Trigon Predator? Alright, what am I boarding out here? Oops, wrong one. Here is my sideboard map. What am I doing as burn? Looks like I am taking out endurance. I took out all that stuff already. Bog. Why does it not map correctly? Oh, the endurance need to come out. There we go. Yeah, no evasion is correct, but the thing is, like, I think in the matches where I want it, I'm not sure evasion matters, but I mean, it's definitely valid. This feels way too slow. Like, this hand doesn't do anything. Hey Corey. I personally don't think Rex Sage is a real card. I've been on record to say that multiple times. Like 4 mana off of Greenstone. Like, why are you not winning the game? Keep. Let's see. I think the Wirewood actually does not do anything here. They just like pass through the turn. They're upset at themselves, but really they only lost 1 damage. Yeah, definitely. Our opponent has some very questionable sequencing here. Like, they should not be floating the mana there. Like, I mean, to be fair, this is the type of deck that you can just like autopilot real easily. Or get into the habit of autopiloting is what I mean to say. Ugh. Don't love where we're at here. I think I have to grist here and then like throw chump blocks. We might lose. This is like an insane start for them. Like, I mean, we have no choice. We're probably just dead. Or that's turn 3. Possible we have to kill a Swiss Sphere. Definitely does not. I just don't feel like if we do kill a Swiss Sphere, I'm just not sure there's a viable route to winning. Is all. But maybe it's correct. Actually, I mean we're dead to anything already, so we might as well just do that. That's fair, Jason. I'm not sure we're yeah, I'm not sure we're beating that, but like I think we're losing no matter what. Like given that hand. This is not, I have started a GP, one of the few 3-0 before, and then paired it to burn round 4 and drew 4 cradles in a row and lost that round 4 and like completely tilted off after that. Like I rarely play GPs, but that's like one of the ones I played in Seattle. I think here we're gonna fetch safely and forget the basic. Snuff obviously a good card, but I think we're not gonna play around drawing because especially given the natural order in hand. Did we board in Prague? Probably not. Yeah. It was, I think it was the one Jarvis one. Yes, Dark Pact. Where I started 3-0, lost round four because I paired into burn somehow in round four, like in the 3-0 bracket, and then I drew I think all four cradles that game. It was the and then I lost round five and just like dropped. I was like, I'm over this. So quite a time ago. I think it was the one Jarvis won though. I don't remember. If they have a sweeper, I'm gonna be very upset. I've been blown out by Rough Tumble a few times lately, and it's just like it makes sense why people are playing. It's just like kind of annoying because I sometimes like my reclaimers is just not 3/4 in time, right? And they have double DRC start. I have to walk into it if that makes sense. All right, no blocks here. All right, we're drawing the hoof, I guess. All right. I've had it lag on me before, and then click OK, and instead click through my attack step. So that's why I played it a little cautious there. I'm gonna use the restroom real quickly and get it. My it's pretty dry already here, so I'm gonna get water and then bring up the list again. We did originally have in the first league, Titania, Voice of Gaea, but then we quickly realized that land is awful. So yeah, Gaia's Cradle. We get to play Tolarian Academy here in Legacy, right? I'll be right back in about a minute, and then uh, we did play, like I said, Titania earlier, but the land is just too bad, so I added back the ninth fetch, and then I'm testing now the Ramanat Excavator, right, as a value card. So Francisco, I mentioned it earlier. I think you might be joking, but I had Titania here instead of the second endurance, and the second endurance was in the sideboard. Uh, but we ran through a league and didn't do too well. Not really because of the card per se. It just so happened the matchups didn't go our way. But I think we quickly learned that the land portion of Titania is an awful card to draw. But for whatever, but here's proof. I did play it earlier. Here is proof. So this happened in the first match, where I got to do, bring back all your lands. That's a very powerful effect, by the way. All right. Oops, my water's over there. It is quite dry here in. I mean, obviously, on the East Coast it's probably worse, but it's quite dry here in our household right now. Uh, I have the Christmas lights on, and it's kind of cool that we have Francisco here because uh, I always think about how he and his brother in Christmas 2020. I think it was 2020. Yeah, I think it was 2020 that Francisco and his brother had the Christmas stream with playing elves. So that's always like one of my cherished Christmas like magic related moment, I guess. Here are two reclaimers and five lands. Granted, two of them were spells, but I don't think we can keep this hand. Also, Zetsun 371 is like a moon stomp, well, goblin stompy player, and I don't think this hand's gonna get there against them. Oof. I don't think we want to go to five, but this hand is not great. Sure. They have like Fury main deck too, so it's just like pretty scary for us. There is no, as far as I know, as far as I know, there's no like good hate bear against these Fury slash Blood Moon decks. So I might have to like think about how I want to tackle those matchups. Artisan is good if you can get to the point where it's like a 5/5, but sometimes you can't pressure them into wasting their Fury. I think here we can't cast the Artisans. We can hit the. It does, but Hushbringer is off color. Is one thing. The other thing is like a 1/2 is weak to Pyroclasm effects too. It does. In an emergency, I may think about playing it. It's just I'm not quite at that point where I think it's that bad yet. But like I've lost a lot of my recent matches to Painter, so that is definitely a concern. What do we want to do here? I think we want to pretend like we have natural order coming. Here, this is what I mean by that. I'm gonna like tutor for a landlord elves and then like pretend like we have a natural order like, coming next turn. The other thing is we kind of want to get a grist down anyways, so it like plays into that line. Sure, it's kind of annoying, but I think here, like, does that on two do us anything? Probably not. We can't get a grist the next turn. The problem is the Fiend Artisans are gonna be off. we can Boseiju their Blood Moon to like turn our deck back on. I kind of like that actually. So on the off chance they have Muxus, I actually don't think I want to turn on their deck, right? So I think I'm just gonna pass actually, and then just like spend my Green Sun on what's it call it, on a Gris. Also, it like inadvertently it helps us grow our artisans too, to the point where if at some point we do play the artisans, they're gonna be big enough and survive. Oh my god, why? Ugh, that is obnoxious. So the thing is, like, that takes it to one. I don't think there's a difference between one and two, so I'm just gonna let that happen. We can Blood Moon play out two fiends. We can, yeah. I'm thinking about that. Like, I think we have to start playing some defense here. Well, actually, only one fiend, right? I think we get that just in case. I think they have Muxus in hand. Never mind. That's not the worst. I think we kill the chieftain, and depending on how they attack, we're gonna try to kill the rebel master. Well, that's going there. I'm gonna ignore that. That's going there. That's also going there. This is going face, and that's going there. I think we have to take this off the board. Just looked around again. It seemed like the only 2-for-1 walkers. Rending vines. I don't even know what that does. I think there's a good chance here. I just want to stop the ancient tomb, and just like flood the board. We can have access to 2, 3, 4 mana, so that doesn't even work. We can send them back to 4 mana, right? If we Green Sun for Collector Oof. I'm a little bit afraid of like top deck Muxus, something crazy like that. Sure. I think the last card in their hand is a land because two, three, four. They could have kept it in case they draw a Muxus, but my guess is they don't. Oh, okay. That is just easy mode now. I have played against them many times, and actually I've lost a good amount of the matches. They often have turn one Lackey, turn two Muxus. It's like that what the deck does, right? All right. Definitely want the Progenitus. I think the Force of Vigor is probably okay in this matchup. We saw the Blood Moon. Raminet. It depends what we have. I definitely don't want Agent. Definitely don't want Bog. I don't think we want Wirewood. Doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think Snuff is like reasonable in this matchup. I'm a little bit nervous about. Well, Endurance is pretty good at blocking, so I want to max those out first. Just I kind of treat this matchup as Moonstompy, and I think given that, maybe we don't bring in the Snuff out. It's like, yeah, we'll try it this way. Turn one Chromox, like a two chalice on one into Muxus. Why no Elvish Guide? I cut it because I wanted cards. It turns out with a mapping with Elvish Guide, I don't have enough cards to board in for control matchups, and I don't really want to play cards for control. I feel like we can beat them regardless. That's part of the reason why no more Elvish Guide because it doesn't map well against control. Like it ends up I have too many cards I want to take out. The disadvantage part matters if we're on the draw. I mean on the play, but yeah. The tempo is huge though in some matchups, but when it's bad, it's like kind of bad. And like I said, I do not want like. All right. I think here we take the basic, and then we're gonna play out the other one, so that we're like hedging against turn two Blood Moon, right? This means that all of our endurance and fiend artists are gonna be live the rest of the game, which is a nice place to be. Turn two chalice maybe. Sure. Our hand is quite good against that at the moment. I think we just want to stick a endurance, to be honest. Like the Moonstompy shell has a hard time dealing with 3/4s, and I just think sticking the first endurance is worth a lot. Yeah, this is 3/4 trial. Unfortunately, the Reclaimer's locked behind a chalice, but otherwise, yes. And then I think we do want to get rid of this. They could have Squee or something crazy. Wow, this Wasteland is gonna be good. Yeah, I was like, this Wasteland is gonna be really good right now. We saw they're missing land drops. Yeah, that's. Yeah, see, the thing is, like, because there's only one, actually two, I guess, right? If you count crop rotation, are you gonna play around it? If you are, then okay, then I'm getting equity out of it already, just to having one copy. If you're not, it's always gonna be a blowout. Yeah, actually, I've tutored it up a few times. Like, if I don't like, and when it comes to Wasteland, I've become more patient. Like, I'm not the type to just like randomly fire off Wasteland for no reason. It's good that you asked that question. I actually kind of want to try a second copy because of how good it is. The problem is like this deck can only support so many colorless sources. Um, and again, we want to test the Ramanap first before we get a little bit greedy, so to speak, right? Um, I'm playing the 9 fetch, so I'm up to 15 IMS for green. Like, I do not want to give away. I'm gonna mention it again. I do not want to give away free wins just because all of a sudden I drew the wasteland and I don't have green sources. I think the first wasteland does a lot because there's been times where like I smell blood in the water and I reclaim her outright, and I'm just gonna two up wasteland, and just like go for the knockout. Yeah, we would have to go down a spell. I think the weakest slot right now, if I'm being honest, is either the third Shepherd or the third Wirewood. They're about the same, I think. I think the crop is really strong, and I think I like everything else to be honest. The second Endurance obviously is like almost like a pre-boarded, like our version of a pre-boarded Pyroblast. I just think we want to save some sideboard slots. Hey, Mr. Lee, I had in the first league. I removed it because after the first league because the land portion of that card is just really awful. I think we're gonna follow Wong deck. I wonder if Wong deck is also what's it called? There's a username with the screen name. Something Wong, not the wrong guy or something like that. I don't remember. It's something along those lines. But yeah, we did have Titania in the first league. Fortunately, it did not do anything. The Ramanat came up once here and was actually drew out Force Will, so I'm kind of happy with that to be honest. We're playing against Momo Baggins. I'm a little afraid they're in the 1-2 bracket. The username, if I remember correctly, I think could be a Moonstompy player too. But again, I'm just guessing. Keep. This is not great, but I think I don't want to go to 5. One of the reasons why I played this ultra conservative mana base that I do is because okay, so they are on Moonstompy. I do not think we want to um, mulligan as because this is at the end of the day less so than before, but still a critical mass deck. Like the reason why Phenar is in, I think we're getting mooned here. Ugh, yeah, this doesn't feel fun personally for me because it's like out of my control. I don't have force. I can't really stop it if they have it. I don't remember if our. I don't think our first hand had a basic either, so I don't think it matters. I think we're gonna lose this game. Like, you don't get to play Magic essentially in this kind of matchup if they just have the turn one, 3 drop, which is actually the reason why we were playing Spirit Guide. I would agree with that assessment after keep game. You have to keep in mind though, we could do that. The problem is we run the risk of not having enough 1 drops. But granted, like Warwood is not like the greatest 1 drop, so I could conceivably see another card. But the issue that we run into is like, um, the issue that I can see ourselves running into. Okay, we didn't hit. It was a good draw, but unfortunately, we dug 5 deep, couldn't find the forest. We only have 2, so that's. Um, the issue, yeah, I said is we would have to have another card come in against Delver anyways. Oh my god. This is what I mean, right? We can't really stop their. It's not like Doomsday where we have counterplay like endurance. There's literally nothing we can do here. Like if they have the turn one blood moon, it's like or worse Magus, right? There's like literally no out. outside of having the natural. Elvish Spirit Guide helped, but again, we were giving up points against control where I don't want to be. I wouldn't even say we got got so to speak. It's more so like that's what this deck does, right? We like the way we currently have our deck constructed. We can't beat everything, and if you can, your deck's getting banned. Um, we just for the time being is we're gonna accept losing Moonstompy. I think. Like it's like red decks for some reason seem to be problematic for us right now. That's gonna be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're essentially dead. It's just a little bit rough because you don't get to play Magic, but that's part of the part of it, I guess. I think we're gonna board the same way we did against the Moonstompy player. I think Ramanet's probably too slow, especially if they have Blood Moon. That it doesn't really do anything. A 2/3 body is nice, but again, I'm not sure it really does anything. I think the crop rotation is probably higher impact. So is the lands. Like we saw the Wasteland just like take over the game against the Goblin Stompy player. I don't think we keep this head. It's possible. The endurance is really good, but 5 lands is a losing recipe. Okay, that's even worse. Yeah, I was tempted to keep. If it was on the draw, it's an easier decision. It's definitely Mole. I just felt like we had 2 dead cards there. I'm just like we need to finish the game at some point as well. But now we're going to 5. So it's the same thing, right? Like we have 2 real, well 3 I guess real cards. I think we put this back, and I think we put the Force back. Actually, oops. Just put the Prog back, and maybe the land, and count on drawing one land before Endurance comes down. I think what I'm gonna do here is try to bait them into a turn 1 Blood Moonness. I don't feel good about this matchup. Sure. I think they screwed up. They cast it for 0. Sure. The irony is it didn't hurt them. Well, it kind of does, I guess, because we can save the other one for. All right. I think we're gonna go ahead and slam the Artisan. If we don't draw a land, I'm gonna be mad at myself for keeping this hand. For putting the land back instead of the Force of Vigor. Mm, I'm not. Maybe it's not unreasonable. I think we do that. Wonder if we're supposed to attack here. Like they could have Spirit Guide into that. Like I forgot what it's called, but yeah. Again, I don't want to splash more colors on Cloud. I think the stomping matchup is okay. It probably is. I'm more afraid of Painter than anything else. Like, so here, I can steal the initiative here. They would attack me back. Like we get this like back and forth thing. It's kind of not great. Yeah, losing a die roll means probably losing the match. Unfortunately, in this matchup. Um, we attack both here. They they probably block the artisan. I would imagine. I can't imagine that they don't. Yeah, I was gonna attack because the land is worth it, right? You just the heads of play is probably to kill the arbor, but you grow the artisan, which is like awkward. I think here we just leave up endurance. Mm, okay. Yeah, so we can't stop the chaos adventurer, but we can kill the bugbear, which is pretty nice. So Kenzin. Uh, I think we just want to trade even, right? So we're gonna take the bugbear out, and then we'll live with taking 5 here. So, yeah, now they get to pump their thing, but I think that's probably okay. I I actually put that up, Cloud. I figured it's easier for me. It's like pretty straightforward. Right? My wife would do a better job than I would too of the Christmas tree decorations. All right, I think here we're gonna bash so that we steal the initiative back. So they were 12. Yeah, we would have been short for hoof, right? Well, actually, did I just like throw? So I would have pitched this, get a 5/5. That's 8 and 12. Yeah, I think I just threw like I just tunnel vision into the whatever right now. Lost well, I guess. Well, I don't think it matters. I think it was. I wasn't paying attention. Might, hurt us here, but probably okay. We had Exacties, but now we gotta clinch. I like tunnel vision into that line is a problem when we have exactsies. This unfortunately, I think we're barely gonna survive because they can attack with both. We block one, we take 6 because of the goblin token plus the trap, and then at most they 6 us with the confluence. So we threw, but I mean I think it's probably gonna be okay. Had to dodge there. It the hard part is winning one when you're on the draw. But we'll see. The the 5-0 dream could end with Moonstop again. Well, not again, but when I say again, I mean like I've had 2 showcase challenges like before in a row where we lost to Moonstoppy, where multiple L pilots lost their their top 8 run died because of Moonstoppy, and I think that's why we added the Elvish Spirit guy. Don't get me wrong. Endurance, the printing of endurance has gone a long way, and I don't think we can keep this. The problem is the natural order is kind of dead, right? With the progenitus in our hand. I don't like Snuff Out because one of their like lines is to try to turn one Magus us. I mean, speaking of the devil, right? Not really. I think glimpses. I tried it in the Heritage event. It just felt so bad. Yeah, this is just again. It's because we were on the draw 2 games. Like if we go on the play, it's a different looking game, but because we can fetch, right? But you don't really get to play Magic, unfortunately, a lot of times when we're on the draw. The poor portion about this too is like if I feel like skill level like doesn't matter, which is why I think a lot of like good players they tend to gravitate towards blue decks too because if there's more agency. Granted, agency is not everything, but like obviously you have to have the right power level as well. But this they want to avoid situations like this where you just don't get to play Magic, right? Not that you always there's like not that there's always counterplay, but there is more so when you have Force of Will. All right, I'm pretty sure we lost this game. Outside of drawing the Force of Vigor or the basic force here. Well, Force of Vigor is now off the table. It just feels like this matchup is kind of like Reanimator before, where it's just like a mulligan fest. Reanimator actually less so now, ever since the introduction of endurance in the matchup. But it's just like we're just at the whim of their draws. Let's see. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's gotta be lethal. That's like a lot. I mean, we're the problem is we even if we're alive, it's just we're dead the following turn. Right? We don't have a way to beat that. Force of Vigor actually not as good as you would think because and indirectly it's because of collective. It's because collective is just so good against a lot of these other decks. Yeah, I would agree. It was a lot worse. Like I played the Heritage event, I just felt naked every round against Show and Tell. Right, like and again, I said it before the match, right? I was like, oh, we're paired into a 1-2 player. Actually, kind of afraid because it just so happens, especially with players who kind of make plays more seemingly at random, they're a little bit more difficult for me to play around because sometimes the lines don't make any sense. Not that it matters here because I think in this matchup it's more straightforward. It's just like mold to turn one, 3 drop, right? But in general, I find players who like kind of make random plays, if that makes sense, more difficult to play against because there's like reads that don't make any sense otherwise. Troll Slayer. I played against this person kind of recently. I don't remember what they're on though. I don't really want to keep a hand with Hoof and Bog, so I'm gonna. The rest of the hand's actually okay, but I'm gonna mull. This is like so much better. Maybe not. You would actually have to have it like turn one too. So uh, this looks like a reanimator start. So that's the thing, right? Like the recommendations were like Hushbringer and I think Burnston Forge Tender. If you get into the point where you can artisan for it, you're probably already winning for what it's worth. Like you just cannot beat some of their like fast. Oh, I think it's what is Badlands and Bolt. Huh. Maybe like Rakdos Painter. I don't know, but it's gonna get it got us right. We have a fetch land here. Yikes. Well, we got punished for not playing the fetch because I want. Oh, they're on Jund. I think. Oh my god, what is going on? I think this is the type of match I think we would lose because our deck is not like built to fight against this kind of deck. I think I did lose to them recently. There is a route to victory, but we're very far from it. That route is either Hardcast Hoof or Allosaur Shepherd Pump. But again, like I said, we're like very far away from that at the moment. What did they reveal? A swamp? Sure. Why do we pair into this? I don't understand. This is why I hate leagues. I think with the as long as the agent is there, the reclaimer is not gonna be anything. I think we might as well just take a dork. At least we dug five. Like this is one of the ways to beat. What is it called? It's one. It's actually one of the ways to beat opposition agent. Possible we should just play four. Especially with water with symbiote kind of weak now. I can see just like playing four once upon a time. Actually, maybe that's on my to-do list now. Sort of. Not even on this board state, right? We only have one elf. We can like double block, but the problem is as soon as we double block, they're probably gonna run in everything else, like the Goif and whatnot, right? I think we just take it. Also, if they have a bolt, we just get blown the you know what out. I mean, I definitely thought about it. Hoof one time. Nope. Why are we playing against? I hate playing against like some of these decks that main phase opposition agent. Obviously, I'm a hypocrite because we have one main deck ourselves, but it just like one of the hardest matchups I think for us is like that bug Coco deck. It is, yeah. We're probably gonna get to the point where we're gonna have to do that pretty soon. That's gonna be a 6/7, which is huge. I think we have to trade the Arbor, and the logic is our artisans can hold back some of the other creatures, right? Otherwise, they're gonna be on the full offensive. We're running out of outs though, and we keep drawing blanks. Hoof here is lethal, but again, we have to draw it. That's not a bad draw. Buys time, I guess. Interesting. It feels like to me they have another agent because why would they attack both agents there? That unless they just messed up, right? Like that's maybe we just take the chance they effed up. Oh, we did. Oh, thanks, Anurag. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I have to check. Is there an easy way to check? If they have bolt, we're just screwed. But I feel like we can't play around anything. If they have it, they have it. Yeah. Why does it say 954 in my follower go? That's interesting. I need to ask Inigo about that. He helps me with the. Also, welcome tonight, Anurag. For those who don't know, Anurag's been providing some excellent coverage for all of the big Magic events going on, Legacy and not Legacy. So give him a follow, and he does a lot for the community. So want to shout him out right now while he's in the chat. All right, we're gonna go ahead and board in Progenitus. Really rough their main deck opposition agent, but yeah, again, I just like assume people will come to their senses and not play this in like a big setting. If they do, obviously I have to adjust, but I'm not gonna like worry about leagues in the sense that like okay, somebody might play a deck that like has all black creatures per se, right? All right. I think we still want snuff outs because it hits their dorks. I think Ramnat's probably really good. Shepherd's like awful in this matchup. I think the crop is probably bad too, given that they have multiple agents. The log is probably bad. Yeah, we were just hoping they missed, but thank you for the follow, Andre 3. That probably what's it called? It makes Honorog happy. I think we hit 1,000 right based on that. So we'll open some chests, I guess. Yeah, we'll open some chests as a celebration, right? Let's see. What else do we want here? None of the other subs, like to be honest, really good. I don't actually think we want agent either, and we just like go on the endurance mid range plan then. It's like pretty sketch, but thanks, Honor. I appreciate it. Let's go. All right, we got one land hand. We got the Progenitus in the of course, in the hand here, so we got a mole. This is significantly better. Keep. The Snowbound's not on at the moment, so I'm just gonna go ahead and toss that back. Yeah, and then we'll open the chest as a celebration, right? Usually I don't open because I always open poorly, but this is grounds for celebration. Turn one confidant, sure. I think this matchup is probably not great. If they have like 3 opposition agents main deck, and probably some number of play engineers sideboard. It's too bad to play. In case it matters for Gaea, I don't think it will, but could. Oh, hopefully they walk the confidant into this flash endurance here. I don't think so. It's like super telegraph, but we'll see. All right, we're gonna ambush it. I feel like they probably have agent, but I could be wrong. Sure. They still have 3 mana up. I'll play this out in case they attack with agent. Um, actually, I'm gonna force their hand. They have it. They have it. Yeah. Okay. They have that. I think the way our deck is built, we're not built to beat their deck, unfortunately. Probably get blown out here. No, I just want to see if they have it. Like I don't really actually care. They snap a they snipe a fetch. Like it doesn't really matter. I think at this point. Like we're it's really hard for us to beat opposition agent. Like it's also hard because they're an aggro deck, so Thoughtseize is not as good as well. Like it'd be different if it's the mono black like Helm deck. I think we could probably deal with that better because we can just board in Thoughtseize and then just take the agent. Like here, I don't really want to. We boarded in removal. We didn't draw it, right? Also, and the removal here doesn't actually hit agent. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Like it just doesn't line up well. I think this matchup for us. Granted, we didn't build our deck to play against this either. I think I might have beat them um, a while back when we paired because this deck I played against them before I think, but we also needed them to screw up and like walk into endurance and things like that. Ugh. All right, that might just be game. Usually, I'm not really afraid of non-chalice decks that are non-blue as well, but this is probably the kind of exception. It just doesn't line up well. I think it's almost concession time. It doesn't even do any help here, but wishful thinking for sure. All right, we're dead. All right, we went what 3 and. All right, so that's only one chest, unfortunately. I was gonna open up all 5, but let's go ahead and open up one. See what we get. We got Black Sun Zenith and a Koleos. Not good. Actually, because chat has been great, I'm gonna open 5. Let's do it. Mm, again, not good. I really don't think either of these are worth anything, but I could be wrong. And one more. All right. Well, maybe, I don't think this is worth anything, but I guess I can see we didn't do too hot with the chest, but uh, do want to provide some entertainment for chat. I think going forward, I think the Ramanat was really good in the one matchup that we had it in. Let's go back. We lost to we started 3-0 and then lost to Moonstomp and lost. We lost to um, opposition agent and we lost to the turn one Blood Moon in games 1 and 3. But there's literally nothing we could have done in this matchup. And then because we were on the draw, and then this one I don't think we're gonna assume to play against it. So I think that's fine. I was pretty happy. I think about probably the first match in this league because that's the shadow matchup. I don't think the other ones are like super popular, right? Like this is Goblin Stop. I forgot what this was. Uh, oh, it was Burn. I take that back. I don't remember now. So, anybody have any questions? With with all that said, good against Shadow and straight up one game against the two Shadow. See, yeah, the Wasteland was pretty good, for sure. So I'm pretty happy I think with this package. Well, one the Wasteland. We'll see how good the Remnant Excavator is. The mana base definitely does feel a lot better with 23 lands. I feel like a control deck, right? More lands and then 9 fetches to go up to 15 IMS. Um, I think the weakest slot is probably the third Shepherd. I mean the third Wirewood. So maybe we play another move the Ramanat or the Endurance main, but then we create this problem where we would need even another card right in the sideboard to bring in against Delver because I want to be able to board out the entire natural order package. There is a world where we don't have to do that and actually just leave in either Collector Oof or Agent, especially against 4 Bobble plus EE decks. Did you win in Seattle? I think ESG Answer Key Gaming is the best one. I think another card that is potentially okay is like Spell Shaper's Sanctuary because it punishes them for targeting us and it's on color. But the problem is like if they mold to a turn one 3 drop and they're on the play, there's like very little I think we could do about that outside of ESG, right? And I do not want to weaken my mana base by like playing like 4/4 or something like crazy like that. Um, so we'll see. I think the Moonstomp matchup is actually okay. Like they're on the play and they have the turn one Blood Moon. Games 1 and 3. Like what can you do, right? I think that what's more concerning is maybe the Painter matchup. We didn't play it tonight, but I have been struggling with it. So we'll see. Anybody have any other questions? I think the snuff outs are good. Um, yeah, I don't know about flex spots being ESG. Yeah, maybe like the problem is it's like real bad sometimes. It's like card disadvantage against, and then you get into a grindy matchup against control. And I don't think we want to give up percentage points right now against control. I can potentially see like I don't know a second Grist maybe instead of the Warwood, but I do think the ability to like Wirewood and Visionary in a pinch is pretty important still, especially against like that Jund deck that we played against. We didn't get to do that, and that's it's not really why we lost, but it would have helped. All right, let's see who's streaming right now. Pioneer, Modern. Do you want to watch Pioneer or Modern? There is also the Will Hall. That's Magic Pro Tour 25, and then the Ham TV. We're drafting Bro. Connorman 11. I think that's Legacy normally, right? No, never mind. Oh, I think Connorman is somebody. I think somebody is a streamer someone recommended before, so I'll probably just raid them. So we'll do that. If there's no other questions, I think the list was fine. We just like got a little bit unlucky in the last 2 matchups. With the one Parrington just like dealing with turn one Blood Moon. While we're on the draw, right? All right, with that said, I'll go ahead and raid. But thank you everybody for stopping by. Here's my socials again, and then yeah, if you have any questions about the deck, feel free to just message me. And then also shout out to for hitting 1,000 tonight. Hopefully the looking at the chest was worth it. And then thanks again to Honorog for swinging by. I know he does a lot of videos for the community, so pretty awesome to see that. And then give him a follow and subscribe to him if you can to support him and the Magic community. All right, thank you everyone. We'll rate Connor Man 11. Oh, and shout out to Justin for the raid too.